I wanted to just ask one quick question, and that is, how much of the change in PM and NOx concentration that's being observed at that one monitoring station is due to changes in activity level, overall goods movement reductions, and as opposed to cleaner equipment, or if you're able to tease that out?
So our study is not it's not an air monitoring study. We were on a bridge over we're on the Bay Street over a bridge going into the port. So we were measuring emission factors from individuals as they drove by. So all the results I'm talking about, all the measurements I'm talking about are specifically trucks driving in. Well, they're driving into the port actually. As they're westbound on, I guess it's 7th into the port. And we're measuring them individually as they go by. And you're right that there is other data. A West Oakland monitoring station that the Bay Area Air District has started operating these last few years, and they've been measuring changes there. I think the clearest thing they found so far has been related to the change in the fuel that ships are burning. They're now supposed to burn a low sulfur kind of cleaner fuel oil instead of the heavy residual fuel. And they've seen a very clear shift from that. I don't know whether they're able to say, gee, we can see the change in the truck emissions reflected in our West Oakland monitoring site. But I don't really want to speak to the West Oakland monitoring site because that's not my study. That's really the Bay Area Air District that's been working there. And the work I've done has been on this, or my group has been on this Bay Street overpass. Going into the port.
Yeah, that's really helpful. That's really helpful. Yeah. Okay. Now I understand better. Haven't had a chance to review your presentation. So thanks for clarifying that. Folks on the other folks on the call might have a bit about that. Let me just first apologize for being in a car heading to the mountain, so I might get cut off without a chance to say goodbye. So let me just pose the kind of $1,000,000 question, and Miguel already posed it, but I'll try to pose it with my words, and that is, how much additional air quality improvement can we expect by the early scrapping of these trucks come 2014, the trucks that have been retrofitted already? Because clearly there's a concern about an economic hardship there, and we really want to have some clarity about the health benefit trade-off of that hardship. And I'm not sure that that's something that you're really prepared to comment on, but that's at least a question that's foremost on our mind right now.
Well, so there is a current course of action that would say let's move ahead with retrofitting the remaining 3 years worth of trucks, 2004, 2005, 2006, with particle filters. And I think there may be probably smaller, but there may be still some additional air quality and health benefits there. And then the NOx issue would be more of a regional scale. I don't see the same kind of health effects related to the NOx emissions, right, let's say, for the neighbors in West Oakland. It's really kind of a different issue that's being addressed, which is a larger scale, the entire air quality in the Bay Area and other air pollution problems kind of that are not just local but more regional in scale. So
what about the PM then? If these 2004, 2005, 2006 trucks already have particulate filters and they're going to be scrapped in favor of newer trucks, how much marginal gain is there in terms of reduced PM emissions?
That's what I would say really doesn't make sense to me, would be to go ahead in the next couple of years and spend a lot of money retrofitting these trucks, just scrap them all, or move them out of the port by 2014. That's the part I really don't get, is why you would spend all this money retrofitting additional trucks if you weren't going to keep them.
Right, and the truth of the matter is that say for example 2004 engine models have to be replaced at the end of this year. That is about approximately 700 trucks. They have to either get retrofitted with PM particular filters, or scrap, because nobody's going to put $20,000 to throw them out next year, right? So the question is, they're really not going to be scrapped. They're going to be put on road because the on road has been pushed off. So the PM issue is going to be either either in the outskirts of Oakland or shifted to another city. And we are really not addressing the NOx issue either. These things are going to continue to survive. They just can't work in the ports. Now, if we don't replace them or we don't push them into the NOx compliance in 2014, and these trucks will be PM retrofitted. And our question is for Oakland itself, which one is a higher benefit?
I think the PM is the that's the pollutant that the Air Board themselves they've identified the diesel particles as the toxic air contaminant and a priority for control. So, I'm not a health effects expert, and but I think I suspect if you ask that question of ARB, they would say that the particulate matter is where the real health concerns are, and that's really a local issue right near the port. And the NOx is there are health issues related to the NOx emissions, but it's more of a scale problem, not a local port issue. But so I
don't know.
I certainly I understand the that you might be a little perplexed by this idea of scrapping a lot of newly retrofit trucks.
Yes.
No, absolutely. And you noticed in your studies that the shift of older trucks versus what you said semi-new trucks, which are 2004, 5, and 6. When this regulation came down, people purchased what they could actually qualify to purchase. I mean, it wasn't a choice to be cheap, but people putting their livelihoods on the line to be able to clean the air, because at the end of the day, nobody wants a cleaner air than the trucker himself. So in doing that, we've upgraded these trucks, and they're a much better emission wise, and you see it on your NOx results, and now they need to be thrown out in the garbage. I mean, it's just like perplexed is true.
A more polite word than you would use, but anyway.
Yeah. Jamie, are you still with us? Maybe we lost Jamie. Bill Abudi here. I just wanted to ask Rob one question. In talking to the DPF manufacturers, is there a benefit if those DPF filters were shifted from, say, 1994 engines to 2003 engines to 2004 to 2006 engines? Would we see additional PM reduction?
Yes, but I think smaller. I think the big benefits on the PM side have already occurred. Mm-hmm. And you'll get some additional benefit, but the trucks that you're retrofitting now are already probably reasonably clean. Not as clean as 2007, but they're probably not super high. Like some of the pre-94 trucks that were no longer being used at the ports, I would expect that those had terribly high PM emission rates, and some of the benefit that we saw in this first round of the study was those weren't retrofit. We just got rid of them.
Yeah.
And so that there's no longer anything like that out there to go after in terms of emission reduction. So in some sense, the low-hanging fruit has already been picked, and this is kind of the second round is a smaller number of trucks. Although actually, there's a lot of it. The 2004, 5, and 6 is something like
2,700.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty big. It didn't used to be a big number in the fleet, but now it is because a lot of people switched, I guess, in this first round to using that newer equipment.
Yes.
So there will be further PM benefits, but I don't know. We will make some more measurements at the port. Later this summer, we're planning further measurements, so we might see, a little bit of further progress. But I guess I would predict, without having made the measurements yet, that we won't see emission changes that are as dramatic as what we've seen already.